point leader Ty Dillon up high in turn 3 and 4. And then late in practice, defending Cup champion Kevin Harvick into the outside wall. It must not be very comfortable out there. It certainly doesn't look that way. These guys are hanging on.
Sometimes you're not comfortable. Sometimes you just flat get angry, right?
Oh, yeah. There's definitely going to be plenty of that today. I mean, I know that Fox Sports 1 does a lot of advertising of UFC. This is the NASCAR version of UFC.
That's going to be good.
Down version. All right, we're going to have some fun this afternoon at Bristol. First, though, we got to fire the engines. What do you say we go trackside now?
And now, for the most famous words in motorsports, please welcome your Grand Marshals, Senior Marketing Director for Lilly Diabetes, Kevin Kemick, and Lilly Diabetes Sales Representative and Type 1 Diabetes Ambassador, Chris Walker.
Drivers, start your engines!
3 of the next 4 races in the NASCAR Xfinity Series on short tracks. It all begins today at Bristol. One of the favorites, Joey Logano. We're from the driver's seat with him next. Today, it's the 7th race of the year for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. We are live at Bristol Motor Speedway in the hills of Tennessee. Joey Logano won this race in 2012. Now we go from the driver's seat with him.
Joey Logano, this is Jeff Gordon at the Fox Sports 1 booth. You got a copy?
Sir, I got you.
Yeah, so I'm not sure if Eric's going to give you the inside or the outside here, but more than likely you're probably going to have the bottom here. Is that car going to be able to hook around the bottom there to make up some spots here and maybe even get ahead of him on the start?
Let's see, it seems like you have a short amount of time to make that work. I mean, you know, Jeff, you just got done with practice. That top was coming in pretty quick there at the end. So if I have a shot, I have to do it pretty quick on this restart and find a way back up. If not, we'll file in and try to pass it the other way.
Joey, your last Xfinity start here at Bristol Motor Speedway, you got the win. What was the key to victory that night? How did you do it?
I think the key's going to be working his lap traffic. You know, everyone's going to be up against the top here. It's just going to keep revving more and more, and all the lap cars are going to be up there also. So being able to move around and, you know, making those moves at the right time of not putting yourself in a bad spot to get past and try to put other people in that spot to try to make that move is going to be key today. And obviously, I think strategy is going to be key also. Making sure we position ourselves to the end here. There's not much tire fall off.
Well, have fun in that discount tire Ford. It's Bristol, baby, and we're looking forward to watching you, brother.
Sounds good. Can't wait.
Joey said one key word, strategy. Could be huge today. The guy is covering it for us down on the pit lane. Let's hear from them. We start with Chris Neville.
Well, Adam, Chase Elliott starting 13th today. This is only the second time in his career he's starting outside the top 10 on a short track. And talking with Chase prior to the race, he said the car was just too tight in qualifying. Another thing he said, the longest run they did in practice, just 15 laps. So he's a little concerned how the 9 is going to be over a long run. Matt?
Chris, pole sitter Eric Jones, one of 12 people in the field who have made their first Xfinity start since Denny Hamlin last went to Victory Lane in September of 2011. Now Hamlin filling in for Kyle Busch. This team has won 3 of the last 4 races here in Thunder Valley. He starts 5th. Crew Chief Chris Gale told me the biggest key today could be on his shoulders. Strategy, knowing that they can make it on 1 stop, but it'll probably be 2, trying to keep his man up front with track position. Vince Welsh.
Rookie Bubba Wallace 4th in the standings coming into this race and coming off his season best finish of 6th at Texas, and they've been very happy with his race car here this weekend. But Bubba told me before climbing in, I don't have great takeoff speed, but the car is really good on the long run. So the 6 car, the Roush Fenway machine of Bubba Wallace, they're hoping for some long green flag runs today.
Confidence shouldn't be a problem for the rookie, Vince. Last time we came here in the Camping World Truck Series, he was a runner-up to Brad Keselowski. Now our Harley-Davidson track description.
The key on that sheet is right there, the progressive banking. That's why it's so hard to hook that bottom, Jeff, and we'll see cars running right out next to the wall.
And today's aerial coverage provided by Goodyear. Everything they learn making tires for the grueling demands of NASCAR inspires what rolls into yours. Goodyear, the official tire of NASCAR.
And last fall here, our winner, Ryan Blaney, went 120 laps at the end of the race on his set of Goodyears. No new tires at the end. We know strategy is going to be big today.
I thought that was really interesting to hear Joey Logano talk about, tire fall off is not that big. Tires can make a big difference on restarts. If you're on the bottom, you might be able to make some moves. But that top groove is the equalizer of tires, of speed, and is what makes this track so difficult to pass on.
You said it to Joey Logano, you're probably going to get the inside lane. And Eric Jones, as the pole sitter, the control car to start the race, has picked the outside. What's your mindset in this situation as we get set to go green for both those drivers in the front row?
I love this front row. We've got a very young and talented Eric Jones who's got a lot of confidence right now coming off that Texas win. And then we've got Joey Logano, who is super aggressive in a really good car out there. That 22 car has been one of the most dominant cars in this series for several years. And I believe the last time he was here, he won, even though it wasn't in that car. So Joey gets around here really good as well. He's going to be super aggressive to try to hook that bottom and just get the left front to get right down on the bottom of the corner to get that slingshot move off the corner and hopefully get ahead of young Eric Jones.
Let's hear from the 88 team quickly before we go green.
Have a good day, boys. Have some fun. Okay, 10-4, have some fun out there. Be safe on pit road. Have some good solid stops, guys.
I love how they talk about having fun right before they get the green. When they drop the green, it all changes.
Time to get down to business. 300 laps for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. First short track race of the year. Here we go at Bristol.
There goes Logano right away. He was able to get that bottom. I was a little concerned that bottom might be the way to go here at the very start. And I think either way, Logano is going to be aggressive to try to get that start. But Eric Jones needs to just settle in now. And we're going to see that groove start to move up as caution comes out.
First caution of the day. Not even 2 laps complete. Eric McClure in the 24.
Let it roll. We'll stay on the lead lap. Come on, bud.
McClure had a decent qualifying run, and I know he's from this area. This is a home game for him. Disappointing to get turned around on the first lap.
I'm going to try and stay on the lead lap here.
If you're just tuning in, you hadn't had your TV on since the Xfinity race in Texas, it's a bit of a replay. We got the 20 and the 22 in the front, battling for the lead. And it's going to be interesting to see how they restart this time since Logano grabbed the lead on the bottom. Ooh, looks like
it looks like he just entered maybe a little bit higher. He got loose getting in the corner. did what we call jump the cushion. That top group, you can see it's a little bit lighter gray, and then it's darker where the rubber starts to get laid down on that part of the racetrack. If you get over that part, it is extremely slick.
He's lucky no one hit him right in the middle of a big pack.
Not even sure that he has any damage, actually. I think he got pretty lucky on that as well.
Looks like he is going to take the opportunity to come down pit road here. May have flat spotted those tires when he spun up in 3 and 4. So we set things for you for just joining us on this Saturday afternoon. First caution of the day coming early for Eric McClure. He's going to get the tires as he comes down pit road. Joey Logano started in the second position, but was able to grab the race lead. Eric Jones, Brian Scott, Austin Dillon, Kevin Harvick, our top 5.
Now, what does Joey Logano do? Does he choose the bottom or does he choose the top? I think everybody knows the top's going to be the way to go as we get more rubber down on the racetrack. But I'm not so sure that it's the way to go right now. And as good as Joey's car was on that start, I would imagine he might take the bottom again.
Yeah, he just was really able to hook that bottom. So those fresh new tires enabled him to do that.
This is such a tough place, and while drivers are not pitting here, when we see it throughout the day, you have to be on your A game because a special set of rules when you come to Bristol. For more on that, let's bring in our rules analyst, Andy Petrie. What can you tell us, Andy?
Yeah, Adam, Larry McReynolds did a great job in the pre-race show talking about how unique this pit road is and how you use both pit roads as one. But one of the tricky parts of this Bristol pit road is it's a square. It's not a commitment cone like we see at a lot of places, but a square on the racetrack where they have to have their left sides either on or below that line to commit to pit road. And the key thing is if they do that, if they put their left sides on that commitment cone or that square, they have to come down pit road. They're not able to change their mind and pull back out on the track.
Something we'll keep an eye on as the day continues, and something you have to be very aware of as a driver.
What will Joey Logano do on this start?
Worked out all right. Yeah, but just keep me updated on how quick guys start moving up to the top there and doing their deal, you know?
I just think Joey's got a lot of confidence in his car right now. I think he feels whether he's on the bottom or the top, he's got a chance of this. When you get a restart like that, it really doesn't matter.
Shot out of a cannon, right? Logano, no problem jumping out front. Jones falls in line behind.
Austin Dillon is able to grab that third spot ahead of Brian Scott. Brian drives down into the corner, though, and tries to drive around on the bottom. That's a tough pass to make, Jeff.
Yeah, basically the 2-car, Brian Scott has about a lap and a half to possibly make this work because as the tires get built up, pressure increases in the tires, that grip level goes away in a hurry, and even that little bit of shot that he had at it went away in a hurry.
And keep in mind, those guys are teammates, the 2 and the 33, on board here with Darrell Wallace Jr. That's the 88 of Kevin Harvick to the inside of Denny Hamlin in front of him.
I'm really curious to watch Kevin Harvick. He runs so well here. He's done so well in the Xfinity Series. He's done so well in this car for Junior Motorsports, and you know, even he tried the bottom and it didn't work, so that just tells you that we're going to start seeing cars move up to the top in a hurry.
Well, what I love, Jeff, is when you see a guy that's able to commit to the bottom and make it work. That's when you know a guy's got a car you're going to have to beat if you're going to win the race.
Absolutely, because those restarts and being able to roll around the bottom can be so important. And when we start to catch lap traffic, if you have a car that can maneuver through traffic by getting to the bottom and completing a pass, you're going to make a lot of time up.
You're going to want to run that middle to high lane when you're all by yourself. But when you catch a guy running in that lane, if you have the car that will allow you to drive to the bottom and make a pass like we see Austin Dillon trying to do here, that's a sign that you've got the ride for today.
So what I'm seeing right now is nobody's fully committed to the top, and you have to get all the way up into the dark black area where the rubber starts to lay into the racetrack to truly get the grip. Now Eric Jones gets pressured by Austin Dillon. Austin was a little bit better through the middle and the bottom part of the racetrack. As Eric starts to move up and get a little more confidence and get that grip that's up high, you're going to probably see him start to pull back away.
Saw the battle for second. Behind them, the battle for fourth. Denny Hamlin knocking on the door of Brian Scott. And right behind them, Kevin Harvick.
And behind them, the battle for eighth. There's battles all the way around this half-mile track, and that's where it's going to be all afternoon.
And it doesn't matter where you are. Even as the race leader, you're never out of traffic at this place. That's what makes it so challenging as you look at the rookie and the veteran. Suarez in the orange 18 inside of Brendan Gaughan in that black 62.
And Brendan Gaughan felt really good about his car. I spoke to him earlier. He's real happy with it. And Suarez, He doesn't know any different. Bottom, top, it's all the same to him around Bristol. You know, he's just having a blast out there and learning a lot on such a tricky racetrack.
It drives me crazy when I'm going down the highway and someone just rides in my blind spot. What's Erik Jones feeling right now as he's being pestered by Austin Dillon?
Well, there's a couple things that's getting on Eric's nerves. That lap car is the first thing, and he's going to lose that second spot, it looks like, to Austin Dillon. But also the 22 car of Joey Logano driving away from those guys. They know Joey's on a heck of a pace right now and is pulling away at a fast rate of speed.
The 33 looks really good. You know, he definitely was all over Erik Jones for a number of laps there, but he had the better car, and now that he's completed the pass, I'm really anxious to see what he can do with Joey Logano.
Logano's already put a couple of cars a lap down. You see a couple of more slower ones right in front of him, inside of the 13 of Timmy Hill. Then he will see the 24 of Eric McClure, who had that problem moments ago.
And I'll tell you another car that I think you're really going to have to think. Yeah, I don't know what happened between the 54 and the 88, but the 88 was able to get by. And if I had to guess, there was probably an incident because, you know, Denny gets around this place really good.
Looks like a little lap traffic caused the 54 of Denny Hamlin to slide up the hill, and Harvick in the 88 took advantage of that and grabbed that 5th position.
So ultimately, these guys would really like it if you come up on a lap car, if they would move down a lane or two so you could roll right around the outside of them. But the preferred lane is the top groove, and those guys have every right to be up there. Really makes for a great racing throughout the field, especially when you're lapping cars.
Regan Smith started in the 10th position, just drove inside of Darrell Wallace Jr. to get up to 7th, and here comes Darrell Wallace Jr. as well. Back to the battle between Kevin Harvick and Brian Scott. Harvick's got another one. Move that 88 up to 4th.
I'm curious to see how he got that move, because it's not easy to get to the outside of anybody. It looks like everybody's really protecting the outside, but Kevin Harvick is coming to the front.
Harvick thought Brian Scott thought he was running the high side. And Kevin said, "You're really not, bud." And he just jumps up a groove higher than Scott was and makes it move, makes it work. Jeff, you talked about how you're looking forward to watching Harvick here today. He is really running some fast lap times now.
And this is a huge advantage of coming from the Cup practice that we all just had. In the Cup cars, we started moving all the way up near the wall and found that there's definitely some grip up there once you get up there and get a few cars running up there. And I think Kevin had a little bit more knowledge that he was able to go off of, and he just jumped all the way up there. And now he's going to do the same thing to Erik Jones possibly.
3 of the top 4 Sprint Cup regulars, so they were just on track. The only one who's not, surprise, the young talented Erik Jones. And the 9 car going in the wrong direction early, Chris.
That's right, Adam. Chase Elliott sliding back to 17th. It sounds like they've got some radio issues with this car. When you listen to Chase Elliott's radio, you mainly just hear engine noise, occasionally him trying to say something. So they don't think that Chase can hear him. It sounds like his mic is just locked open right now.
Let's listen in to their audio and see what it sounds like in the car.
I got you on 2, Earl. Is that the car radio?
Oh, there's nothing more frustrating than not having a radio. Here at Bristol, the spotter is so crucial here. What they don't know is whether he can hear them or not. So you basically have to go on the premise of, we believe that he can hear us, but we're having trouble, you know, being able to communicate with him, obviously. And you just got to keep talking the way that you normally would, as if everything's fine. But they're going to probably have to fix that at some point, because this is Bristol. You have to be able to tune the car. You have to be able to communicate if you're going to have a good day.
Think about a year ago, he never finished outside the top 10 at a short track. 13th to 17th today. Out front, it's all about Joey Logano. 37 of 300 laps complete in the Drive to Stop Diabetes 300 at Bristol Motor Speedway for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. While we were in break, you guys commenting about Kevin Harvick, how solid his car is early, started in the 6th position and has worked his way solidly inside the top 5, running 3rd now behind Austin Dillon.
Well, I think we knew that we were going to see Harvick be strong in this race and be a real contender for the win here. Now he's really starting to show it. And Eric Jones is getting a great education riding behind him. It looked like Eric wasn't quite comfortable moving all the way up and getting that extra grip in that outside lane. Or he thought he was running the outside lane, sort of like what happened with Brian Scott. And he's actually really picked up the pace and been able to stay right there with Harvick. Harvick's definitely better than Austin Dillon right now, but can he get by him? Is he going to have to slide in front of him to make this move?
Tell us more, Vince.
Well, that's a great point, Jeff, because the spotter, Tony Hirschman, told Eric Jones the same thing. When Harvick passed Eric, he assured Eric that he was doing fine, just P4, and then he said, that guy in front of you is a darn good one to learn from. And as you said, Eric Jones is picking it up, and the pace is picked up. Matt?
And Austin Dillon trying to hold off Harvick, but lap traffic getting in the way. The best place for him, if he loses that spot, was right off of turn 2. He's too free on entry down into turn 3, and that's where Harvick kept making gains.
Well, now that Harvick has cleared Austin Dillon, or almost cleared him, maybe, I think it's going to be fun to see what kind of lap times Harvick can run. His strong suit, Jeff, is really diving and rolling into the center of the corner, carrying a lot of speed there. Dillon was holding up his progress in doing so, but if Harvick can get some clear track, he's going to put down some lap times.
Yeah, he's really making a late apex. He's carrying a tremendous amount of speed. He sort of straightens out the car getting into the corner and carries a tremendous amount of speed up to the middle, but then he lets it go really wide, and he knows that the car is going to turn late off the corner and carry all that momentum.
Remember yesterday during practice, if you were here with us on Fox Sports 1, a lot of movement in his hands. That's Harvick's driving style. He likes to make little quick movements on the steering wheel. You can see passing the lap car there, he wasn't as jukey as we've seen him before, but when he gets to doing his thing, he drives the car very aggressively, Jeff. A lot of hand movements, quick movements. When we watch Logano, it's about the opposite, just really slow with his adjustments.
Yeah, I know Kevin likes a very quick steering box, and he likes to be able to react to it very, very quickly. And you know, this track is very rough, and so you're going to see a lot of that roughness through the window, through the wheel. But I think he looks a lot more comfortable today than he does yesterday.
And Logano's in a bunch of traffic, so he might look a lot less comfortable today. That's a mess he's found himself a part of.
Well, I noticed with Logano's car, he's able to really pivot the car strong in the middle of the corner and get this big drive and straight drive off the corner and really carry a tremendous amount of exit speed.
You can see the difference in their driving styles, though. Joey's more calm with the wheel, and both of them are getting the job done. That's 20th place Ross Chastain. They're lapping, so they're getting up to some really stout cars now.
Yeah.
John West Townley just ahead of them, had a great qualifying run. He's slipping and sliding.
Good battle here for 3rd. Austin Dillon has it, that black and red 33. But right behind him, pole sitter Eric Jones, who's getting an early education. He is a sponge and taking advantage, trying to get the 3rd spot away here.
Well, let's just make a note. If he's able to clear the 33 of Dillon and make this pass, that's a power move. That's something we haven't seen done. All the other passes we've seen today have been picked in traffic. Jones is hooking the bottom. That's a good sign for that young man.
That is an impressive move right there. To be able to roll around the bottom on somebody running the top and complete that pass, that tells you just how good that car is. And I saw a lot of patience out of Eric Jones right there. It's another great sign of his young talent.
There's Brennan Poole. We've watched his progress throughout the season early in the going. Just gets better and better throughout the race, but that's a bad sign there. Right in front of him, the leader, Joey Logano, driving away.
Only now 15 cars on the lead lap as Joey Logano goes around Dakota Armstrong. He started on the front row and has led all 52 laps. Some debris on track, second caution flag of the day, and the leaders coming down pit road. Let's go to Chris Neville.
Well, Adam, Jeff was saying that the 22 good in the center and a good exit. Well, that's exactly what Kevin Harvick needs right now. He said he's not rolling the center very well, and he's just way too loose off. 4 tires.
Will be pitting right off of turn 4, the first stall. He was telling Chris Gale he needed help most on initial throttle as he goes to make the turn, the cut through the center of the corner. That's where he needs a little bit more grip. Now, we talked about 2 tires and 4 tires. Chris Gale told me if they pitted before lap 75, look for him to possibly go 2, and that's what he does.
The 22 of Joey Logano, it's a tick free, and then started a tick free and then started to get a bit tight, but they didn't want to adjust on it. They think the track's going to come to him. 4 tires. Eric Jones, 2 tires only on that stop.
So the Joe Gibbs drivers playing a little strategy here. Denny Hamlin, Eric Jones, both going with 2 tires. We'll reset the running order when we come back. 58 laps complete here at Bristol. We're under caution. Let's go to Alan Massengale. Still under caution here at Bristol, and one of the drivers that we thought would be in it to the very end today was Austin Dillon, but he had problems on pit road when he was exiting the pit lane a moment ago.
He was leaving and Derek Cope was coming, and that's a that's a hard hit.
That's a big hit.
We're killed, man. Is it clear, any clear? No, I say watch the 70. Goes straight down into his pit on you there. You can feel it against the wheel.
Yeah, it's so important. You know, you have to know who's pitting around you. And in my opinion, that the 33 has to kind of give way to that car coming in there. I don't think they knew that he was pulling in there, and he was sort of rolling slow anyway, and he was a lap down or several laps down. And so it's an unfortunate incident, but what I really saw there was the right front splitter on that 33 car took a lot of damage. So that's definitely going to impact their performance here.
Saw Derek Cope went to the garage, and now we get our Ford track fact. Presented by Ford, go further. Ryan Blaney won this race last August, and 5 of the last 9 races here won from the front row. Joey Logano won the race off pit road. He got 4 tires, 2 for Denny Hamlin, who restarts second inside lane. We go back green, completing lap 63, and a problem for Eric Jones.
Yeah, looked like he missed a gear there. He maybe spun the tires and then tried to go to third gear, and it just didn't work out.
Boy, we're lucky you didn't have all those cars piling up. Anytime you have a guy up front not take off, a chain reaction accident is usually inevitable, and they all avoided it.
I know how much Denny was wanting to really get track position by taking 2 there, and he was really hoping to be first and not second on that start. So we got the 20 car here. We're going to follow him as he goes here. Looks like he just starts to go, and I think that's more than just spinning the tires. Yeah. That's going from second to third gear and missing third gear.
It almost had the look that he could have went to first, you know, maybe trying to go from second.
You may be right, Michael. He may have tried a first gear restart, and every time I've ever tried it, that's pretty much the way it ended for me as well.
He's up on the high side, as is Denny Hamlin. Denny with those 2 tires trying to hold off Brian Scott down low. Scott had a really fast car yesterday in practice. See if he can get this move made on Hamlin.
These first 10 laps, I think, are crucial for Hamlin. I think the 2 tires can actually work really well because, as I mentioned earlier, once the rubber gets laid down in that top groove, it's the true equalizer. It's really hard to pass a car, even if you're faster than them. So as long as he can maintain this position right now, it's going to be hard for those guys to get by him.
Better to be lucky than good, right? What about Chase Elliott? About to go a lap down, caution comes out, good pit work, and now the defending champ running 6th. That is impressive. How they feeling about it, Chris?
Well, they've got the radio fixed, so that's the main thing that they're happy about. But other than that, Chase Elliott on that initial run was saying that the car was a bit tight, so they made some big adjustments, 4 tires on that car.
That's really interesting. I spoke to him earlier, and he was really battling with being loose getting into the corner. So I think they're probably pretty happy that he was a little tight and that they could free the car up a bit.
That's just a great example of how fast your fortunes can change here at Bristol. We're talking, he was getting ready to be lapped, and now he's solidly in the top 10. When you're racing for a championship, those are the kind of days that can be key to your success.
I want to know how they fixed the radio and came out 6th.
Let's keep an eye on this. On board with Darrell Wallace Jr., and there goes Eric Jones to the inside. I thought there may have been a little nudge just before he drove down to the inside of that Ford.
Well, I can promise you, if there wasn't, there's going to be soon, because you just can't make these types of moves and passes here at Bristol without making a little bit of contact or having trouble not making contact. You're pushing the limit of the car so much, and you need that position so badly, and you know that if you don't make that spot, it's very possible you might lose 3 or 4 more.
Okay, no lap traffic to deal with, no other cars on track to pass. Kevin Harvick now on the back bumper of Joey Logano. This could be a preview of what we're going to see throughout the rest of the afternoon.
Such an advantage, Michael, to be behind the leader in this situation, because you're working that outside lane. You can be a little more patient getting into the corner. You can maybe just let the car roll through the center and then get back in the gas, and you can really analyze what that driver and that car is doing and just try to find all the little weaknesses that they may have. And right now, Harvick looks like the car to beat. If he's able to stay on his bumper and just keep pressure on him, if he ever gets in front of him, I think we're going to see him walk away.
Yeah, but what I love about Bristol is strategy. We've already seen it with the 2-tire call for Hamlin, a couple other cars. Harvick is the fastest car, it appears, early, but you can stay out on tires. You can get 2, switch things up. It's hard to dominate here at Bristol.
Well, and this battle could really heat up and get really interesting, because it's going to come down to how bad, if Harvick is better than him or feels like he's better than Joey and keeps the pressure on him, how bad does he want to get the lead? Is he fine just being there in second and riding it out till the next pit stop? Or does he feel like, hey, I need to make this move?
And how many laps does it take to pass somebody here at Bristol? I always feel like you get to someone, and then it takes 6 or 7 laps to calculate your move and set up the pass.
Well, just like what we're seeing here with Austin Dillon and, with Brian Scott, you're trying to get in their mirror and put pressure on them and maybe get a run on the outside if you can. Work lap traffic, try to block them in a way where you can make the move a lot easier. But the best way to pass here at Bristol, besides the bumper, as we've seen in the past, is really force them to make a mistake or get them so frustrated that they have no other choice but just to let you go by.
I'll tell you, Daniel Suarez has done a great job. Qualified in the top 10. We all know, though, qualifying here, racing here, two totally different things. He has stayed there and holding off two pretty good ones in Brendan Gaughan and Chris Buescher, who are right behind him.
Well, the nice thing that Suarez has here and other tracks is he has Joe Gibbs Racing and teammates and cars that are really solid. Those are the last thing he needs to be thinking and worrying about. He just needs to be thinking about his line, learning a racetrack, learning what it's like to race in this series.
What about it, Chris?
Well, this is Daniel Suarez's first time here in an Xfinity car. He has raced here one other time in a K&N car, but he said these cars are so completely different. He said the big thing right now is just trying to feel comfortable entering the corner. That car feeling a bit loose.
I think everybody's feeling a lot of that looseness this weekend. I hear a lot of it in the Cup Series. I'm hearing a lot of it in the Xfinity Series. I learned a lot this weekend in the Cup Series. We have a lot less gear than we've ever had before, and I never realized how much that gear makes a difference in the RPM that you're turning with the engine to make the cars get really loose into the corner. It just doesn't slow the car down for you, using a lot more brake, and the cars seem to be a lot looser in. And these Xfinity cars turn even less RPM than we do, and so they're definitely dealing with a lot of looseness as well.
Lap traffic, never fun, is it, Michael? Logano, Harvick, nose to tail, and here they come up on Brennan Poole. Got the free pass last time, but about to go a lap down now.
Yeah, and John West Townley's car is really loose. You can see he's been into the outside wall there. So these are challenging times for Logano and Harvick.
And I think what Harvick's doing here, he's kind of looking ahead. He's seeing other cars where they're running, and if he can get an opportunity to either pin Joey on the high side behind a slower car, maybe make the move low, or vice versa, that's what he's looking to do. Obviously, he wants to get through here as fast as he can and stay with Joey, but if he can do that, he's looking for that pick that can help him make that move. But right now, Joey's really gotten through traffic a lot better than Kevin.
And that has everything to do with if your car will work on the bottom. We've talked about the fast times you can run up top, but you need a versatile race car, one that you can take down low or up high, because you're going to catch those lap cars, and there's no telling which way they're going to pick to go.
Quite a battle at the front right now, Vince.
Well, and one of the things that is key to getting through that traffic is understanding where you want to put your car in relation to the guy behind you. So Joey Logano trying to hold off Kevin Harvick, and also getting word from his spotter as to where Harvick is better than Joey. And for instance, telling Joey Logano that Kevin is driving it in a little straighter in the corner allows him to get in a little harder. So Logano can then adjust accordingly. It is a team effort right now here at Bristol between spotter and driver.
In my experience, as this track has had this type of a groove where they ground the top and it lays the rubber, and that's the fast preferred line, you want to be a little bit tighter up there. But in order to make passes and roll around the bottom and be good on the restarts, you want to be a little freer. And I think Joey's car is a little bit freer than Kevin's. We already heard earlier that Kevin was dealing with a car that was a little bit too tight. And it appears to me like that's something that's holding him back from getting through lap traffic right now.
Remember the comment I made earlier? It's hard to dominate here at Bristol.
Unless you're Joey Logano in the 22.
Throw that out? Is that what you're saying now?
93 laps, all 93 led by Logano, but I promise you the story will change before it's over.
Here's how good Joey Logano was on that first run. So good, he came to pit road, got 4 tires, and was able to win the battle off despite the fact a couple of other guys in the top 5 only took 2. His advantage was that great when he came to the pit lane.
Well, if you think that just getting through lap traffic is important to you to try to win this race, it plays out so many different ways, because he had so many lap cars in between him and the second place car, Kevin Harvick, when we came down for that pit stop, that he could take 4 tires, others could take 2. It didn't matter what anybody else did. They were not going to beat him out unless they had a major problem. And so right now, I would play that into my strategy. I would try to get as many lap cars between me as I possibly could, so that not only is paying off now, take some pressure off of me, out on the racetrack as I'm running, but also as I come to pit road the next time.
We heard Austin Dillon say she's killed, boys.
I don't know about that.
That might not be altogether the truth. He's been able to survive that wreck he had on pit road. He just drove around Brendan Gaughan and now is working over Chris Buescher. one of our championship contenders. So I don't think the 33's day is over yet. That car looks really competitive.
And, you know, we talk about aerodynamics being so important at all these tracks, and it is important here, but we've seen cars with no noses on them at all and still be able to be pretty competitive here. So maybe that damage wasn't hurting them too much.
Here's what's unbelievable. He restarted 36th in line because in addition to the contact, he also had a pit road speeding penalty. He's passed a lot of cars since the restart, kind of like the man out front, Joey Logano. What a great day on Fox Sports 1. Began with NASCAR coverage 8:30 this morning. Now it's the NASCAR Xfinity Series. And when we wrap up from Bristol, Tennessee, it's Major League Baseball, a doubleheader in the AL East. The Orioles and Red Sox doing battle. That's next. And the nightcap, the New York Yankees, fresh off a victory last night. Alex Rodriguez, a couple of home runs, taking on the Tampa Bay Rays. So good to have you with us on a Saturday afternoon here on Fox Sports 1 with Michael Waltrip, who's won here twice in the NASCAR Xfinity Series, and Jeff Gordon, who has 5 Sprint Cup wins here at Bristol. I'm Adam Alexander.
There's never won here in the Xfinity Series.
I've never won here in anything, but I will lead us through the rip that says Joey Logano is dominant and looking for another victory here today.
He certainly is. He's looking really, really strong. I mean, the car is doing everything he wants it to do. It's good on restarts. It's good on long runs. It's good in lap traffic.
You got to watch Harvick. He faded away from Joey Logano, but I tell you, Jeff, things happen so fast here. Denny Hamlin took those 2 tires. He rides along in the 3rd position, over a half a lap behind already. And I'd like to point out, I have done something that Jeff Gordon hasn't.
Well, I think I'm looking forward to Hamlin getting 4 tires because I think he might have something for these guys if he does. See the 2-car Brian Scott, nice solid day. He's been strong these last several races this year. He's really putting some great efforts out there.
Jeff, you've won a few championships. Oh, something wrong with Hamlin.
Let's hope it's not a left side tire.
Up there. The whole field's coming.
Oh, that's a lonely feeling,
Hold
huh?
up there. Got about 15 more than you're going to have about a straightaway to get down.
Get trapped in that outside lane, nothing he can do about it. You see him motioning, trying to get down to come to pit road.
I'm surprised that he didn't get down right there.
He's pitting off turn 4, so he'll have to come down that pit road or he'll get a further penalty.
Hamlin running in the 3rd position when he had an issue.
23 and 4, no pressure by 5 to P4.
Is that fluid coming out of the 54
is he overheating? He definitely looks like it's more than a tire issue.
He's on the pit lane finally, Matt.
He keyed the radio and he told his team, I think I broke a rear end gear. They told him just to bring it behind the wall, and they're going to take a look at it. His chances for a win today, gone.
Yeah, that team has experienced so much success at Bristol. When you think about Kyle Busch, 7 victories here, but unfortunately some disappointment for Denny Hamlin, who qualified good, played a great strategy game, and unfortunately is going to take a top 5 car and sit behind the wall for a while.
Yeah, that's unfortunate because we were just talking about how that 2-tire stop was really paying off for him. Even though he wasn't contending for the lead at the time, I still think being in 3rd place, he was going to have a shot with 4 tires. This is what Bristol is all about right here. I mean, just a gaggle of cars, and you're 3 wide, you're sliding around the bottom.
Leaking oil for your
the caution's coming out.
Big caution here because Brendan Gaughan had just gone a lap down. He'll get the free pass.
Talking about pack racing at Talladega, we got it at Bristol. That was as intense as you could want. The leader catching that bunch of lap cars.
So I'm counting 3 cars in between Joey Logano and Kevin Harvick right now. That's not too many. I think that Harvick might be able to close a little bit of that gap as they come to pit road, but it's still an advantage to Logano.
Do you want to pit here, Michael? I mean, you know, the last time you came down lap 58, and you only have 3 sets of tires in the pits. What's your thought process here?
Well, I think maybe we pit here because we know the winner has gone further on a set of tires at the end of the race here than anywhere else. And I think that's because, Jeff, we get more and more rubber on the track, and then the tires will last longer as the race carries on. And you see they are coming to pit road, Chris.
Kevin Harvick said that he needed the car to turn a little bit better and better drive off after that first round. This last round of adjustments, he said the 88 very good up high, but as he's working traffic lower on the racetrack, just way too tight. Matt?
And Brian Scott taking his Chevrolet down the backstretch pit road. He needed more overall grip in that number 2. Remember, he's still searching for his first Xfinity Series win, 181 races. Very solid feel, though, in that car.
The 6 of Bubba Wallace coming in, as is Joey Logano. Logano just needs a little bit more front turn. It's going to be a 4-tire change and an air pressure adjustment for Logano, who has led every lap. There you see Bubba Wallace in the middle of the screen. Says it's tight in the center, and he just doesn't have the grip that he needs. They're going to make a slight air pressure adjustment, a 4-tire change for Wallace.
They came in 1-2, they leave 1-2. Talking about Logano and Harvick, both drivers getting 4 tires. The pit stops happened at lap 121. Following them, Ty Dillon, the championship leader, getting a spot on the pit lane. He's made up a lot of ground today. Big penalty for Regan Smith. Too fast on the pit lane. That means there's a penalty car. He's going to drop back to the tail end of the longest line. could be a long run for him. 33rd is where he is in the lineup. On the front row, Joey Logano, Kevin Harvick.
Another great start for Joey Logano. Really shoots out there and kind of pick his lane. If he wants to take the inside, he certainly can. Got Brian Scott here making a move on Kevin Harvick.
Harvick just drives through the center of the corner, though, and is able to clear Brian Scott. Kevin and Joey Logano were racing really hard down in Texas in the Cup race last Saturday night. So Joey put a little bit of a block on Kevin, and away Joey went. I guess Kevin or Joey might think twice about blocking Kevin today.
Always think twice about blocking Kevin.
You are aware of your surroundings, right? Blake Cook had an issue. See him in that black and white number 8.
So this is a perfect example of what I talked about earlier. You can sort of jump over that grip level, and there's basically tire debris that's above that. And when you get into that, it's basically like hitting ice, and the car just went straight into the wall.
Eric Jones started on the pole, got those 2 tires on his first pit stop at lap 58, drifted back to the back portion of the top 10. Listen into the team radio.
Terrible right now. I mean, it's so tight center, it's so loose off. I mean, the traffic is killing it. I just tried to restart first, and I couldn't get it into second.
That's really interesting. He did try to do first gear restart, and that really bit him. They've really never recovered since then. So he's going to really just have to be really strong and solid right here. You know, I hear him talk about being tight and the front of the car tires just not wanting to turn the center the way you want, but yet the exit's loose. Sometimes it's really tricky to try to adjust for that, because many times if you free the car up through the center, you'll actually help the exit because you're unwinding the steering wheel instead of trying to feed the wheel and abuse those right side tires. So I think they're probably going to have to free the car up if they didn't on that last pit stop.
You know what I love about that kid, though? We saw it in the Truck Series last year over and over again. He gives such good feedback. He's able to tell his crew chief what he's struggling with and what he needs to be better, and he consistently finishes strong in these races. And
Dylan might have a tire. There was contact between he and the 60 of Chris Buescher that last time around, and I'm wondering if there isn't an issue with that right rear tire.
Yeah, Austin down on the bottom, you know, trying to make some moves around the bottom. I don't think there's any tire issue. I think that he's just stuck on the bottom and he's pushing really hard, but maybe he does have a tire problem. He's coming to pit road.
We got a right rear down also.
Second time they've had a problem today, Matt.
Tough break for the 33, right side tire down. You guys called it. You thought he may have an issue. You're right on the money. Right rear on the 33.
I mean, it didn't appear to be down, but it might have been losing some air. He was pushing pretty hard around the bottom and really abusing that right rear, but if there wasn't enough contact, it didn't look like the nose was able to get to his right rear, but it's possible.
Denny Hamlin still sitting behind the pit wall. What's going on there, Matt?
He speculated that it was a rear gear. That's exactly what it was. Broken rear end gear on the 54.
You don't see that very often. That's not usually a problem unless you know, we run fans on these cars to try to keep them from getting too hot. Usually, though, about the only time you have a problem with the rear gear is when it gets hot, and that fan maybe wasn't on or didn't or somehow broke.
that team of Chase Elliott's have done a nice job with strategy and getting him track position, but man, he's a rolling roadblock right now. Eric Jones, Chris Buescher, they're all over the back of Chase, and he's going to have to watch it. He's really getting heated up from the rear.
There's the young talent in the sport that is all having to be patient on a tough track like Bristol. That's not easy to do for those guys. Here's somebody else trying to be patient, Joey Logano. He's got such an awesome race car, comes up on these lap cars and is able to really pick his way through there, bottom, middle, top. He gets these big runs off the top and makes a move into the next corner and doing an amazing job.
Eric Jones finds himself in a tough spot. He's being held up a bit by Chase Elliott, and Chris Buescher is very determined to get by both of those cars. That's tough.
Remember how worried we were about those guys in the championship chase during qualifying today? All three of them now inside the top 10. Ty Dillon up to fourth, and a couple of them right here. Chase Elliott and Chris Buescher, who's finally going to drive down to the inside of Eric Jones. Can he make it stick?
Well, you heard Eric Jones earlier talking about traffic killing him. He's really meaning that the right front tire just gets built up so bad and really causes the car to get tight. And basically Buescher is getting frustrated. They're all frustrated, I think, a little bit being held up here by the two cars in front of them and wanting to make some moves and get by and get in that clean air. But when you run the bottom of the racetrack, even though you might be able to get side by side, it's really hard to complete that pass. Now, Buescher right there made a really interesting move as the 20 went to the bottom. He just went to the outside and got side by side. He's going to complete this pass.
Little power move here for Chris Buescher. A couple of top 10s and 3 starts at Bristol. Going to the outside to pass Eric Jones. He picks up the 7th position.
You cannot give up an inch to the outside, not on a lap car, not at any time, because it's such a huge advantage to be up there. And I really think that Eric has the better car right now. It's just that he's having a lot of trouble being able to go to the bottom and trying to make some of these moves on slower cars.
Regan Smith, who was penalized for speeding, started way back in the field after the penalty, is off the pace.
He had raced all the way up to the 12th spot.
What's happening, Vince?
Well, you heard the fact that you heard him radioed in that maybe it was the battery. He doesn't have any power. They're going to take it right to the truck, so he's going to go behind the wall. A big problem for Regan Smith.
I don't know if that damage that he has in the rear of that car happened after he went to the back or not, but definitely somebody's gotten in the back of him also pretty good.
A driver that flipped in the season opener at Daytona. A lot of ground to make up when you talk about the championship. He had been doing it with 5 consecutive top 10s. He had gained 30 points on the leader. Came in 5th in the championship chase, but unfortunately problems today for Regan Smith. Past halfway in Bristol, Tennessee for the NASCAR Xfinity Series, 7th race of the year. Today, it's been the Joey Logano show. Started on the outside of row 1, has led 158 laps. In fact, every circuit so far. And one of the drivers that came in the championship chase, Regan Smith, behind the wall.
Here's a restart where it looked like, that was when the 20 missed a shift and the 7 had to check up, and looks like he got some damage from Buescher from behind.
Yeah, later got caught speeding, and it didn't go good from there, Chris.
Well, we can see the 7 car up on jack stands down here. Just checked in with the team, and they confirmed it's a rear gear in this car, too. So it sounds like the same thing as Denny Hamlin.
Well, you said earlier, Jeff, that's something that's very unusual, and to see two top runners have that same problem, that's confusing.
Yeah, I'm really anxious to see. I mean, did they have a gear change? Is this a different pinion gear? Is there something that's unique about this rear end gear that is causing these teams to have more problems than what we've seen in the past?
If you weren't with us early, Chase Elliott started 13th, drifted back. They did not like their race car, having issues with the radio. Got a timely caution when the defending champion was about to go a lap down, come down pit road, fix the issue with the radio, good pit stop, gained some track position, and here they are running 7th. Right behind him, Eric Jones, and his teammate, the rookie Daniel Suarez.
Well, I can tell you Chase Elliott's not enjoying his race because not only did they have the problem with the radio, but he's not running at the level that he really wants to be running at. That car is not doing what he wants it to do. You can tell. You can see the gap between him and the 6. He's holding up the 20 and the 18 behind him, and he's fighting. And I love this. Some days, if you're going to win a championship, these are the days that you have to put up a fight, and he's putting up a good fight.
How frustrated are they, Chris?
Well, Adam, you guys were wondering if they changed that radio on the first pit stop. Once we got under caution, Chase Elliott was able to mash the buttons around in there and try and see what was going on. And actually, one of the buttons was stuck in that car, so they didn't have to change the radio during that pit stop. Since then, it's been working fine, but this car has been tight all day.
And Jeff, you can see, just can't turn in the middle. And watch Eric Jones. That's going to make tomorrow fun, huh? He's going up there where no one has been yet since we got to Bristol, Tennessee. All the way up into the white, higher than Chase is going. And look at the run he gets off the turn. That groove is working for Jones.
It really is. And what happens is the rubber starts laying. I mean, he's really getting all of it right there. Maybe a little bit too much. He got a little bit too greedy, and Suarez took advantage of it. But that's how on the edge you are at this racetrack, especially running that top groove. It is so easy you feel the grip, you feel the speed, you're getting runs on the person you're racing with in front of you, and you think, if I just go in there a little bit faster, if I just go a little higher, I might be able to make this pass. And you saw what happened if you push too far.
132 laps to go. There are 10 cars on the lead lap. Joey goes into the corner, and there you see the difference between he and second place, Kevin Harvick. Ryan Scott's worked his way to 3rd. Ty Dillon came in with a championship lead. He's done a nice job. Somebody
we haven't spoke a lot about today because he's been so quiet, but he is solidly in the top 5 and having a good day.
I don't know how you start 16th and make it to 4th being quiet, but he has done it, Michael.
Yeah, it's been impressive. Chris Buescher, another driver that's been really impressive. He just gets it. That car, it looks like sometimes he's out of control, right on the edge of control. We saw him into the wall in lap 2 at Texas, rebounded from that, and now he's battled nicely into the top 5 here at Bristol.
His teammate, somewhat quiet as well. Darrell Wallace Jr., 6 right now, Vince.
Yeah, the car is just way too tight in the center. He said he just doesn't feel like he has any lateral grip and can't get the drive off through the exit that he would like. But it has been a solid weekend for this group. And remember, coming off their season best finish last week at Texas, he and crew chief Chad Norris working together and starting to get better week by week as we've got a yellow on the course.
So it's our 4th caution flag of the day.
Now we're all going to come and get tires, right? And then we're not going to have any left, and we won't have to worry about any more strategy.
Probably, yeah, they will make it pretty interesting as far as strategy is concerned. They go that far on tires.
You know, the first car 1 lap down is J.J. Yaley. He took the wave around to get back on the lead lap under that last caution. He's not pitted since lap 58. We know that he will pit here. A nice break and a nice strategy play by J.J. Yaley and his team.
We also know that means these tires will run the long haul and will hold up well. We saw Hamlin earlier running in 3rd on 2 tires. Yaley there, Adam making a nice play with his team to get back on the lead lap. He's up in the 11th spot, so a great run by J.J. Leaders are pitting.
A little bit less of a gap here between the 88 and the 22 on pit road that time.
Chris?
And Kevin Harvick saying takeoff speed on that restart, the car just plowing way too much. Once he got 46 laps on his tires, he's saying that the 88 still a little bit too tight in the center. Matt?
And Brian Scott just couldn't figure out where he was getting beat from the competition, especially the 3 of Ty Dillon. His spotter told him, right past center, he is better than you. Air pressure change for the 2. He was a little bit too free on exit. Meanwhile, the 3 of Ty Dillon his car was a little bit tight on entry, and free off the track bar adjustment on the last stop helped. They're going to make another track bar adjustment again this stop. Vince?
Well, the 22 of Joey Logano, still kind of a similar problem, needs a little bit more turn, just as he reported on the first stop. It's a 4-tire change and a 1 round up on the track bar.
Off pit road 1, 2, 3. Joey Logano, Kevin Harvick, Chris Buescher, who got fuel only. They're saving a set of tires should we get another caution. Interesting play there.
Oh.
Just about ready to go back green here at Bristol, and some bad news for Kevin Harvick fans while we were away. Caught speeding on pit road, so instead of restarting second, he will restart in the 11th position, the final car on the lead lap, but that's deceiving. It's tail into the longest line. He'll be like 30th or more in line. Once we get the green flag, he's got some work in front of him.
Bad news for Kevin Harvick fans. Great news for us that are going to be watching him come up through the field.
They just need to give him one of those Hunt Brothers pizzas they brought up here for us. Give him a little energy for the stretch run, Michael.
Well, no, I'm still picking olives out of my teeth.
Logano, great restart. Buescher, no tires in the 60, flares wide. Ty Dillon to second, side by side for third.
Really anxious to see what this pit strategy, how it works out for Chris Buescher. That was a pretty gutsy move. I mean, what, 121 laps to go. I think a lot of these teams feel like they're going to go all the way on whatever set they have on there. But if the caution comes out at the perfect time with maybe 60 laps to go, I think if they come in and get tires and nobody else does, it could be great.
It's going to be fun to watch for sure. Caution lights are on.
Clear, caution down, back it down.
There we go.
But there was no caution flag out. We saw that here a year ago
on our monitor, and
we saw that here a year ago when Carl Edwards was leading the race late. The caution came out. I don't know what happened there because the lights were on around the track.
Possible debris.
Hey,
the flagman wasn't waving the flag.
Let me tell you, it's maybe not a good caution for us because we wanted to see the 88 drive through. He just gained a lot of track position.
Watch Suarez here. Oh, into the outside of Eric Jones. That was nearly big.
Nice save.
See, Jones gets a little bit sideways, loses his momentum, and Suarez, I think, was looking at the car of Bubba Wallace, and Lost track of where the 20 of Jones was.
One of the challenges, if you go up top too early, for some reason, if the tires don't have some heat in them or there's not heat in the track, that top groove is really slick. So you've got to be a little bit careful to get up there too early.
I think that's a tough break for Chris Buescher, Adam. He was stabilized in the 3rd spot. Now he's going to be pinned on the bottom for this restart with those old tires. That's going to be some tough sledding.
Kevin Harvick coming down pit road. Not much to lose here, Chris.
Yeah, interesting call here. They put stickers on that last pit stop, but that was that last set of stickers, so they wanted to pull them off and save them for later in the race. So they just put the tires on, then they pulled off on the last stop.
Nothing really to lose here. I mean, he's going to be the last car on the lead lap. He's going to be able to close up to the field. Might as well, have a little bit of an advantage over the competition by having some fresher tires.
He agrees with Chris Buescher's crew chief. I want those tires later.
It's been fun so far, Danielle.
117 laps of fun, Adam, you call it, left to go here at Bristol Motor Speedway. Danielle Trottle joined by Larry McReynolds inside the Hollywood Hotel. Let's get you caught up if you're just joining us. It's been a busy afternoon here at Bristol Motor Speedway. Eric Jones starting on the pole, Joey Logano on the outside. Typically, he takes the inside line on the 22 with the 22.
Yeah, and right here, Austin Dillon, you're going to see him get into the 70 car on pit road. He had to come back on the pit road, had to restart deep in the field.
Take a look at Eric Jones in the 20 here, Larry. On the restart, was it a shifting issue? Dropped from 3rd to 8th.
Yeah, I think he learned a lesson there. He tried to restart in 1st gear. This was after the restart. Even though Joey Logano was leading, he got loose. Kevin Harvick in the 88 really closed up on him.
And Denny Hamlin, a rear end issue. Kyle Busch won 3 straight here at Bristol in that machine. Not going to happen for Mr. Hamlin today.
Yeah, they had some interesting strategy because they changed just 2 tires and they were running inside the top 5 when they lost that gear. And just a few laps later, Regan Smith also had a rear end problem.
A lot of problems today for some big names. Let's send it back upstairs with some big names. Joey Logano still out in front. What a dominant car, guys.
I was going to say some big names have had some problems. One really big name, no issues at all. Joey Logano's been the dominator today.
And Joey Logano, the 22 car, if they don't have problems, they're going to be really tough to beat in any given weekend. But right now, with these other guys kind of giving it to them, they're only making it easier on them.
Well, I said earlier, you're no way you're going to dominate here at Bristol like Joey Logano's doing right now. But I love the strategy that Kevin Harvick has put himself on. We know that Chris Buescher has unique strategy as well. So there's still a lot of racing to go here at Bristol. We see how tough it is to get through lap traffic. We know how hard it is to pass. Harvick makes a play for some tires later in the race and drives through the field. It'll be fun to watch.
184 laps today, and Joey Logano has led all of them. And when you think about history here, last time Joey came to Bristol in an Xfinity car, driving for Joe Gibbs, he got the victory. Only win here for the coach that didn't come via Kyle Busch. And the last time we came here in the fall, not only did Joey win the Sprint Cup race, but it was this team, the 22, with Ryan Blaney behind the wheel that got the victory. So we reset the top 5 here with 115 laps to go. Joey Logano, the race leader. Ty Dillon will restart 2nd. Chris Buescher is 3rd. Brian Scott, Chase Elliott, who had problems early but has rebounded nicely, in the 5th position. Eric Jones won the pole, has not led a lap today. He restarts 6th. Darrell Wallace Jr. 7th. Daniel Suarez in the 8th position. Brendan Gaughan, J.J. Yaley make up the top 10.
So the 88 can be up at the tail of the lead lappers. Yeah, he's going to have to work like a mule to drive up through there. Yeah, I mean, he's going to have to be hard on his stuff to do it, too. So I think we'll be fine. Let's cruise.
Kevin Harvick likes to work like a mule. He likes to go. And you could tell by the way he's diving in the corners, the speed he's got through the center. This is good stuff.
He definitely has the car, and the way he's driving the car by being aggressive on entry, he certainly has what it takes to get up there and battle Logano before this thing's all over.
One of the great venues in all of sports. Aerial coverage today provided by Goodyear. Everything they learn making tires for the grueling demands of NASCAR inspires what rolls into yours. Goodyear, the official tire of NASCAR. Just about set for the restart. Let's go to Vince Welsh.
Well, speaking of Goodyear, crew chief Greg Irwin has reminded Joey Logano, we have no more tires. You've got to make these last till the end. So look for Logano. And they've reminded him on a couple of different occasions to be as conservative as possible. Not easy to do here. The only handling issue Joey has had is just he needs more front turn. They hope that they've fixed it with that last adjustment.
And there's a lot of people that hope they haven't.
I was going to say, I hope the competition hasn't heard that, because it looks like he has more front turn than anybody else out there.
No surprise, Logano, like he has all day long, chooses the outside lane for the restart, and he blows away Ty Dillon as he steps out on the lead.
I'm not sure what gear the 22 is using on restarts, but it's the right one.
We talked about Chris Buescher catching a bad break with that caution. He just continues to lose spots down on the bottom of the racetrack. Those old tires are making it tough for him to hang in there.
Here comes Kevin Harvick in a bunch of traffic.
He's trying. He's trying to put his nose in there at 3 wide and just, you know, find any gap that he possibly can to make some of these passes. He knows that he cannot waste time, even though there's a little more than 100 laps to go. Those laps click by so fast here at Bristol.
You know, Jeff, I'm a little surprised he's being that aggressive 3 wide on those tires, knowing that he's going to plan on coming back to pit road, but maybe he wants to challenge to see if he can drive up there on those tires and be competitive.
He was racing there with Brennan Poole in the 42, who has worked his way back onto the lead lap. His 4th career start, he's 12th. This kid's really been impressive. Let's get a report on Chris Buescher, Matt.
Coaching Scott Graves looking at the present, but also the future. Now, earlier in the race, they lost 7 spots, fell back to 14th when the car in front of them missed a shift on a restart. Wanting to keep Chris near the front, they took fuel only. The other reason, they don't have any sticker tires left. He wants to save the one set he has that has 3 lap scuffs on them, so they're trying to save that set for their final stop.
I'll tell you what, Matty, he will drive the heck out of that. Oh, we got a car in trouble off turn 2, and there's a spin on the back straightaway. Jeffrey Earnhardt around.
All right, caution's out, caution's out.
I think it started
Caution's out,
there.
You're okay.
With David Starr, and then the chain reaction caught up the 55 of Jeffrey Earnhardt. Our 6th caution of the day comes with 106 laps to go.
We talked about David Starr starting this thing. It looks like maybe Sieg clips Starr, and watch how long it takes him to wreck.
He did a great job of saving it for the most part. I know he still got in the wall, but it could have been a lot worse. I'm surprised it didn't go right around.
You can see back here coming into the frame, there's Jeffrey Earnhardt. He gets clipped by Ryan Reed, and around goes Earnhardt.
There's just absolutely no room for error at this racetrack. When something happens in front of you, you can't check up because you're already 3 wide and bumper to bumper.
Jeremy Clements gets the free pass. That will get him back to 1 lap down. Last caution, it went to Ross Chastain. Joey Logano, your leader at Bristol.
Have a good day, boys. Have some fun.
Here we go at Bristol.
Is that the car radio? We're killed, man. What is it? Clear? Any clear? 3 and 4. Pretty good right now. Pulling away, man. Nice and smooth. Pulling away.
Pump, 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 pump.
102 laps to go. It's the 7th race of the year for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. We're live from Bristol, Tennessee on Fox Sports 1. Joey Logano, the race leader. He's led all 198 laps today. And boy, he has worked his way through the traffic nicely. 15 cars on the lead lap. At one point, we were down to 10 cars on the lead lap. This time on the front row for the restart, Brian Scott, Ty Dillon, Eric Jones, Chris Buescher line up in the top 5. We go green with 1:01 to go in Thunder Valley.
This is the time of the race I start to get excited. You start to get inside 100 laps to go, and that's when we really start to see what this race is going to be all about, how it's going to unfold, as we see Eric Jones start to come back to the front with that outside lane.
Well, and we've also talked about how he has a lane, a groove no one else is running. Now that he's got some track position, we also talked how he just knows how to adjust a car and call for the things that he needs to go faster. He's going fast as he has all day now.
I'm super impressed. I mean, I was impressed last week at Texas when I was up here with you guys, and again impressed because this is a track that it's very easy to get frustrated. It's very easy to lose the handling of the race car. The grooves change, and he's adapting. He's giving great information and making some great lines here.
Let's go back and look at that restart.
To me, it looked like the 22 hesitated a little bit, and I think the 20 was trying to anticipate it, and he just got into the back of him. The 22 still had a great restart after that, and I don't know exactly why he hadn't done that in any of the other restarts, kind of hesitate like that. So it was interesting to see how that unfolded.
Well, that's a fortunate break for the 22 of Joey Logano. He could have spun those tires when you get hit in the back. That'll certainly cause you trouble in the restart, but he's been solid all day long.
Can you say sense of urgency for Kevin Harvick? He is getting after it since the green flag went back in the air.
Yeah, he's got to take advantage of these fresher tires, versus the competition. He's got to get up there and make these passes as quickly as he possibly can. As you see Brendan Gaughan slide the back of the car through the center of the corner there in front of him, and Buescher gets inside of him.
Gaughan in the top 5 at one point was a lap down. Michael got the free pass. Second week in a row, that team has battled back.
Big opportunity right here for not just Buescher, but also for Kevin Harvick. Is we've got a caution, a car on the wall.
I saw the 39 of Ryan Sieg in turn 2, and then the 28 of J.J. Yaley. Big damage in turn 3.
That's a big hit right there.
What a great run J.J. was having as well. That's a shame. He was into the 11th spot, running inside the top 15 when this happened.
If I had to guess, he got in the inside wall in the back straightaway and then got into the outside wall later with the way that damage looks to the nose.
I would guess contact.
So the 39 just gets loose here, goes up the racetrack, gets some right side damage. Nothing too big, but this doesn't have anything to do with what happened with J.J. Yaley.
You can see Yaley there. He comes up into the car he was racing. He was not clear. It makes you wonder if he got the call from the spotter. He was clear and just...
It sounded like the spotter got pretty excited there in a hurry because, maybe he was a little late on that or saw JJ coming up.
7th caution flag of the afternoon comes out with 93 laps to go. Happy to have you with us in Bristol, Tennessee.
Hey, Steve. We're all hoping you're doing all right and can get back to the track soon.
It's exciting to see what Bristol has done, you know, in support of you and in stand up for cancer.
Best of luck with everything. God bless you.
It's always exciting when NASCAR comes to Bristol, Tennessee. Extra special for all of us in the Fox family tomorrow. So amazing how the NASCAR community has come together in support of Steve Burns. We'll see you for race day, noon Eastern time here on Fox Sports 1. Then our coverage shifts to Fox at 12:30. It's Sprint Cup Racing 8th race of the year here at Thunder Valley, Bristol Motor Speedway.
Got a piece of splitter stuck under the wall. I stuck a whole car in the fence and got stuck in the wall here one day. I was talking to Burns about that the other day. He was here covering that race. And Steve, we love you and thinking about you. Let's go down and see what Joey Logano's thinking.
I think we should under red. Why not?
Joey Logano, it's Michael up in the Fox booth. You got us?
I gotcha. What's up?
I'll tell you what's up. Before the race started, I said there's no way anyone dominates at Bristol these days. You've led every lap. How's the thing feel? And what are you thinking about the rest of this race? There's some guys on some differing strategies now.
Yeah, we got some different strategies here. This discount tire Ford's obviously really fast. It's really good in traffic. It seems like I don't even know what number Harvick is. Whatever number he is, he was pretty quick when we get some open track, and I felt like I was able to work traffic a little bit better, and my car was just a little bit more maneuverable than his car was. So I'm sure he'll be working his way back up. I know he's got another set there, and then there's a few fast cars behind me here too. So it's one of those races you just want to keep holding them off. You don't want to screw it up now.
Got to go 120 laps on those tires to the check. Are you confident about that?
Well, Greg Irwin is, so I guess I should be. Yeah, I feel pretty good about it. We ran quite a few laps in cup practice on a set of tires, and I think everyone's kind of on the same strategy here. So, and plus there's quite a few cautions here towards the end of these races. So I'm sure it'll get interesting on these restarts, and we'll have some fun.
Hey, Joey, speaking of restarts, this is Jeff up in the Fox Sports 1 booth. On that last restart, you've been getting great restarts. On that last one, I don't know if you hesitated or you just got some, the 20 got into the back of you on that one. But walk us through that restart on that last time.
Yeah, I had Brian Scott underneath me there, and he was trying to time it, and he started going a little bit before me. As the leader, you have the control start, so I waited in the box until late in the box till I went, and the 20 was ready to rip, and I wasn't quite going yet, so we got a little bumper damage, which shouldn't affect anything.
Yeah, no, the damage doesn't look too bad. Well, you're looking good out there. You're right. That car is really maneuverable, turning the middle better than it looks like anybody, and that's really helping you in lap traffic. And looks like those other guys are dealing with a little bit of a tight condition. So, hey, good luck. Go dominate this thing all the way to the finish. Just give us a little bit more to have some fun with up here in the booth.
Pretty exciting in here. Every time I go in a corner, I see the number 24 up on the wall, and I aim it right at that thing, and good thing I turn right before it most of the time.
Yeah, it's turn before you get there.
Harvick's in the 88, by the way. Michael reporting from the Fox booth.
Thank you. Good to know.
And look at that. You are pretty clean up there in the corner, Gordon.
I'm excited. I just learned something for tomorrow. I'm going to just aim for the 24 and turn at the 24.
Okay, that's good.
Thank you, Joey Logano.
So now that we've confirmed that Kevin Harvick is in the 88, let's listen to their team under red.
When we come for our tires, we need to be like two lights because we're not going to be racing anybody. We just need to be nice and easy so we don't go to the back. Yeah, 10-4. I'll make sure we don't speed. It's that last straight segment, so it has nothing to do with the corner.
So Harvick going to restart 7th, and that team's kind of had the magical combination this year. Kevin Harvick with 2 wins and Dave Ellens atop the pit box, Chris.
And Dave Ellens calling the shots for the 88. Made that call to bring the car back in and pull those tires off so you have a fresh set here. When do you want to see a caution to put that last set of tires on?
I'd like to see a caution with about 60 to go. We were having a really good day there. We're hoping to beat the 22 straight up, working on the car, trying to get better. Unfortunately, that issue on pit road caused a different plan of action for us. So hopefully caution comes out, 60 to go, we get him on there, and he can have fun getting the Hunt Brothers Chevrolet back to the front.
Yeah, they're hoping that that's the ticket to beat Logano today.
You look at Kevin Harvick and how things have gone for him today. Had a pretty good start at the front. I mean, there he was 6th. Had the penalty and drops down. You know, really at one time, Larry, they were running back outside the top 30, not in the running order, but as far as number of cars to pass because of the penalty, and now here we are 7th with 90 laps to go. What do you see here, Larry?
Well, I think, Adam, when Kevin Harvick and Dave Ellens pulled this strategy, we only had about 10 to 12 drivers on the lead lap. The problem they're going to be faced with, the more cautions we have, the more drivers we keep stacking on the lead lap. So even if they get that caution that Dave Ellens was talking about with 50 or 60 to go, and he pits, he still may have up to 13 or 14 drivers to get around to try to win this race. To me, that's the one X factor in this whole strategy, is how many drivers he would have to pass, even though he would have fairly fresh tires.
And when you look at trends, Larry, and I know how much you like the trends, 1 year ago in this race, we had 7 cautions. Of course, we were running in March, 3 in the first 150 laps, 4 in the last 150 laps. Right now, we're at that limit. We'll see if we get another yellow flag today. Let's hear from Vince Welsh.
Second place is Eric Jones. Mike Wheeler is his crew chief. No more tires, no more plans to come into pit lane. So is the car good enough to challenge for a victory this way from here on out?
Yeah, I think so. We got behind mid-race with 2 tires and a little bit of bad adjustment and bad restart, but the car's back to being good, and I think we got enough tires to race them at the end.
Thanks, Mike. Matt?
And catching up with Mike Hillman Jr., the crew chief for Brian Scott. So if you don't come again, you're going to run with this set of tires to the finish. Does this cooling off put another good heat cycle on these tires and maybe give you a shot at the 22?
I think so. I think everything cooling off and getting one more shot here at the end. Maybe we can get a shot at them. When the last restart comes out, you just really need to be in the outside lane. So if we're an even number right there at the end with the last cautions done, maybe we can go give them a shot with the Shore Lodge Chevy.
Thank you, Mike.
I'll tell you what, we're working hard down on the pit lane. I mean, you guys interviewed Joey Logano. We heard the team radio from Kevin Harvick, talked to Dave Ellens, talked to the crew chief of the 20 and the 2. What are they saying for the 62 of Brendan Gaughan?
So you got to either go below it, go above it. Sometimes I get above it and I'm great. Sometimes I get above it and I get too high. I'm fighting in here, and I shouldn't be fighting this hard. You know what I mean? I feel like I'm fighting and it's better than it is, and I just need to relax and let it come to me.
Feels like he's fighting.
I tell you, I fight every lap when I'm at Bristol, so that's what this is all about. It is, and you know, he's talking about the rubber on the high groove of this racetrack. It doesn't come just in one steady place. It's in patches, and so you're straddling it. You're running over the top of it. You're trying to go above it or below it. You're constantly trying to find that perfect groove, and it is a battle. It's a fight.
He knows how to fight here, Adam. Top 10 in his last 2 races here at Bristol Motor Speedway. So.
Speaking of fighting, Michael, we got quite a committee fighting that piece of splitter over there in Turn 3. We're under the red flag at Bristol. Hopefully we'll be rolling when we return on Fox Sports 1. Coming up next on Fox Sports 1, it's Major League Baseball, the first of a doubleheader. Dustin Pedroia and the Red Sox taking on the Baltimore Orioles. Then it's going to be the Yankees and the Rays. The doubleheader starts next on Fox Sports 1. So we had an 11-minute red flag, and while we were under the red, we picked up this from Eric Jones' radio.
Gear ratios aren't perfect either this weekend. You know, that one restart where we didn't get going, I tried to restart first because it's lugging so bad. Second, you know, if I don't lay back and get a run like I have the last couple restarts, it's hard to keep up with them, you know what I mean?
You know, you go through that during the week in your preparation prior to a race. You go through all these details about what you've learned from the past and what you're going to apply this particular race. And those transmission ratios are extremely important. And they'll learn a lot from this and make sure that they adjust it for the future. I always like to have, you know, a gear that I can roll up. And as I apply the throttle, it doesn't just buzz the tires and I can stretch it out in that gear. But everybody likes something a little bit different.
Our 7th caution of the day led to a 11-minute red flag. Cars rolling once again. We'll get the track completely cleaned up, and then we'll go back under a green flag condition for the stretch run.
89 to go.
What do you think here? I mean, I look at Joey Logano, and certainly he's the guy at this point, but Eric Jones back in the mix now. We can't forget about Kevin Harvick. Brendan Gaughan inside the top 5. Been impressed by the rookie Daniel Suarez. I mean, where is the focus going to be as we head down the stretch?
I'm excited. What happened last week? Eric Jones took it to the 22 team in the final restart. I'm not saying this is going to be the final restart, but you know, don't count this young guy out. And yeah, Joey's definitely had the dominant car. Anybody gets ahead of him, it's going to be, you know, very, very difficult to pass that car. We've seen that being out front has huge payoff.
Well, he ran his fastest lap on lap 201. So just recently put his fastest lap in the books, did Jones, at a 15:85. I tell you what I'm interested in watching, and that's the strategy. You give the timing works out, and Harvick gets those tires with 50, 60 to go, and that's going to be a 2 or 3/10 advantage. And the way he can get through traffic and how maneuverable that car is, he could make it fun at the end.
And I thought Larry made a great point. The one disadvantage to that strategy now is we've had so many cautions adding cars to the lead lap, he's going to have some traffic to deal with. But if anybody can make that work, it's this guy.
I would think others would come as well at that time that are further back in the field, but the caution's going to have to fall at the exact perfect time for that strategy to play out. And I don't even know if it's going to work then. I mean, Logano's so strong up front, and it just seems like tires, after you get 10 or 15 laps, they sort of level out.
Said Eric Jones ran his fastest lap of the race, lap 201. How about his teammate starting the outside lane behind the race leader, Daniel Suarez, ran his fastest lap at 2:04. He could be good here on the restart.
We saw these two make contact earlier in the race, so you know, you think that the teammates are going to work with one another. Not necessarily.
86 to go at Bristol.
Suarez wants that second spot. He wants to see if he can challenge Logano.
Oh, it's going to be so close coming off of 2. The 20 tried to get up in front of him and tried to roll through that bottom, but just wasn't quite clear. It got pretty hairy over there off of 2 between those two.
No love lost between teammates. They're side by side for second. Orange 18, Rookie of the Year contender, outside lane, give the runner-up spot to Daniel Suarez.
Impressive run by him.
We've seen this all year, Jeff. Just every lap on the racetrack, he gets more and more impressive. Be running second at Bristol. That's awesome.
Saw Brendan Gaughan working hard on Brian Scott on the bottom there. Got really loose off through the middle of 1 and 2. He's going to lose another spot to Chris Buescher on the outside. Hey,
Contact
Chase
there.
Elliott's still not. He's still in this thing fighting and battling, and you got to love that effort he's putting out there.
Little punch there on Brendan Gaughan. Opens up that outside lane. Chase Elliott able to drive around him, and Kevin Harvick looking to the inside for a position.
Throw patience out the window, and the 60 just got high, jumped over that rubber that we talk about that builds up, and gave the 9 car an opportunity here to make a pass. But now he's in a very vulnerable position because while Busher got wide and lost a lot of momentum. Now the 9's down there. He's got to make a decision. Do I try to make this pass, or do I just slide up behind him as quick as I can so I don't lose more positions? I think he's going to need to get in behind the 60 as fast as he can. There he goes.
On board with Darrell Wallace Jr., 9th right now, and right behind him, Kevin Harvick. 88 not making up any ground on the restart. In fact, he's gone in the wrong direction a little bit. So we got 80 laps to go. Some great scenes, some great sounds here at Bristol, Tennessee. Let's go crank it up. NASCAR on Fox from Thunder Valley.
Lap of the race, the last one. Halfback 88.
How about this battle? 88-6, Harvick, Wallace Jr. going at it for position.
Yeah, and it looks like 88 really forced the issue there, and he was pressuring Darrell Wallace from behind, and then he was just reading him and basically caught Darrell in a fairly vulnerable position there where Darrell was letting up early into turn 3, and Harvick just surprised him and dove inside of him. Now this over here off of 2, the battle continued. The 88 pushed the issue. Looks like the 6 got a little bit wide, had to get out of the gas, and the 88 completes the pass.
A couple of updates on some fast laps, Adam. Daniel Suarez continues to run his fastest laps of the race, a 15:82 on lap 222. He's catching Logano a bit, first guy we've seen really close on Logano. And Chris Buescher on those old tires, fastest lap 2 or 3 laps ago of the day.
How big is the smile today on Joe Gibbs' face? I mean, we all know about what Eric Jones did last week, and after he got that win at Texas, he said this kid is ready for Sprint Cup. Today, Daniel Suarez, another one of the drivers in his development program, rookie in the NASCAR XFINITY Series, solid second place effort. He's been great.
Yeah, things are looking really good here at Bristol for and over the last several weeks for Joe Gibbs Racing. You got 2 young, very talented drivers sitting here second and third, putting a great effort together here at Bristol. A very tough racetrack. This will challenge the best of them. So to have these young 2 guys up there second and third, and you know, some could say stalking the 22. At times it looks like Suarez has been able to put some laps together as good as the 22, but certainly a bright future for Joe Gibbs Racing.
What's he going to do with these kids? He's got 4 top-of-the-line NASCAR Sprint Cup drivers already. Daniel and Eric starts looking for a ride. We're going to run out of room.
And the race leader, Joey Logano, not getting away from that duo at JGR. Part of it because, once again, he finds himself in heavy lap traffic.
So there's always room for young, talented drivers, in my opinion. That's what makes this sport so exciting. That's what I love about the Xfinity Series, is seeing the aggressiveness and just throw caution to the wind of any young driver, because they've got nothing to lose. They're trying to prove everything. They want to get to the Cup Series, or they want to make their mark right here, and they just go for it. You got to love that.
Teammates right here, you see Elliott Sadler behind Darrell Wallace Jr. Got a report a moment ago from NASCAR. The 97 of Peyton Sellers had been posted, and if NASCAR hadn't taken care of it, Darrell Wallace Jr. was going to do it himself.
You got to be smart, whether you're racing for the lead or a position, or if you're a lap car. You have to be smart and understand your surroundings at all times.
That's a hard thing to balance, isn't it? Because look at this mess. I mean, the 60 of Chris Buescher has been all over the back of Brian Scott. We saw Kevin Harvick have to rough up Darrell Wallace Jr. to get by him. Now he's caught in the back of Chase Elliott. They're teammates. I don't think he'll be roughing him up.
This is what usually makes pit road really interesting when the race is over here at Bristol. It never ends. I mean, there's so much on the line. These guys want to get that position. They know they have to push the issue, and you're going to have to rough somebody up along the way to do it. Chris Buescher's certainly right now doing everything he can to put pressure on Brian Scott.
Now, when you say that, you've seen it before.
Yeah, I've never. Well, okay, yeah, maybe I've been a part of it a few times.
We saw your highlight reel off the top of the show.
I want everybody to show how much it means to them. I want to see passion, and so when you're in that moment, the passion comes out. So I can relate to anybody else ever showing that, because yes, I have been there, unfortunately.
Some points implications on the line today too. Ty Dillon came in with that championship lead, only 2 in front of Chris Buescher, and in third, Chase Elliott, who you see right in front of Kevin Harvick here. And all those drivers now find themselves inside the top 12, but the guys that came in behind are now ahead of Ty Dillon. We could have a new leader when we get to Richmond next week when you talk about the championship chase.
One thing that's really hard to follow on these types of racetracks where inside lane versus outside lane on restarts is so crucial is what happened to Ty Dillon. We saw he was up in the top 5, really making a great effort at getting that top 5. I don't know if something happened on a pit stop or if he just lined up on the inside lane a couple of times here and it's shuffled him back, because his car looks really strong.
Chris Buescher able to get up to 4th. And there you see the reminder, next Friday night, another short track race for the NASCAR Xfinity Series.
So we're looking. Go ahead, Michael.
It doesn't get much better than short track racing in the Xfinity Series. We've seen them 3, 4 wide. We've seen it all, but the fact remains, we've seen domination. Joey Logano, all 245 laps, he's led.
Yeah, when you're up here, you want to watch a race that there's a lot of lead changes and a lot of action. And I know some of the folks that aren't Joey Logano fans are maybe hoping for the same. But if you're a Joey Logano fan and you appreciate dominance, which I certainly do, this has been an impressive performance by him and that 22 team.
9 drivers doing double duty today. And Michael, this is something you and I talked about during practice yesterday. You feel like the carryover in a place like Bristol maybe more so than anywhere else we go to.
Yeah, this car has been just about like this since we checked in with him yesterday, Vince. Just a real steady wheel, not a lot of anxiety, it doesn't look like, for the 22 of Joey Logano.
No, and I think actually the car is probably as good, if not better, right now than it has been all day long. So certainly not good news for those trying to chase down Logano. And as dominating a performance as it's been, it's hard to believe Joey wasn't even originally scheduled to run this race. Ryan Blaney, who won here in August in the 22, was originally scheduled to run here this weekend, but he's going to participate in the Dash for Cash later this summer. And they wanted him to be eligible and to be running all of those races, so they had to switch up the schedule. There you see Blaney sitting on the pit box for the 22, keeping an eye on it. So Logano ended up switching with Blaney to run this race. I'd say it was a pretty good decision. A flawless performance by the 22 today.
Yeah, and if any strategy is going to come into play, Vince, we're going to need to see a caution now. It's going to get to be too late for Kevin Harvick and Chris Buescher if the caution doesn't come soon.
Darrell Wallace Jr. spent some time in the top 5 today, running 9th right now. Let's go on board with him a moment ago.
Darrell, another guy that's really been fighting with the car. He's just trying to get everything he can out of it, trying to find a little bit of extra speed. Maybe a little bit higher line might get you that, but right there it bit him and got a little bit of right side damage from that move where the car just drifted too high and got into the wall. But he didn't lose any positions.
And he did not hit that 24 on the wall over there, which is a good thing. We want to keep that clean.
Yeah, he got there too early. That's what happened. He needed to wait a little bit longer.
Chase Elliott made his way around Brian Scott. Chase's car, we have seen just constant and steady improvement out of Chase. You can see there's Kevin Harvick. He's behind Scott now. Elliott has driven around Scott and now is closing up on the 4th place car of Chris Buescher. Chris has been an amazing story, hasn't he? Just riding around on those darn tires that are dated. How confident would you be to come and get new tires?
Yeah, boy, I'd love to have some new tires, and as good as he's been in that car has been, I could see him, if it happened anytime soon anyway, I could see it really getting those guys to the front. He's making some great lap times right now, and those tires are definitely older than the competition that he's racing against.
I love this kid, Chris Buescher. He just shows us every week that he's a real working man's racer. He's going to ride on the edge of control. He's going to go up to the top as high as he needs to or down as low as he needs to, and he's closing in on Eric Jones. This could be the guy that early in the season we start talking about as being the favorite for the championship. One of the guys that the others will have to contend with for sure.
3 wide racing here as they come off of turn 4.
That doesn't typically work at Bristol.
No, it doesn't, but you still see a lot of it.
Kevin Harvick continuing his climb, 6 now and closing on Chase Elliott.
Yeah, I think we're really seeing the speed of Kevin Harvick's car right now as he gets clean air. He really makes some great lap times when he does get that that open track to himself.
This is going to be a good little battle, Michael. You guys talk about Chris Buescher and his drive to the front, and he's trying everything to get around that 20 of Eric Jones.
Well, he's
done it. There, he did a great job, really maintaining the momentum on the high side. Looked like Eric Jones was looking ahead. He saw the lap traffic coming. He wanted to get to the inside lane. He just almost went there a little bit too early and almost lost that spot to Chris Buescher.
Saw Logano in front of him there. He's a number of laps down, 71 in fact, after he went behind the wall earlier and to change the rear end gear, so he was out of the mix here early today.
It happens quickly, doesn't it? We were beside Eric Jones, was Chris Buescher the lap before. Now he's got about half a straightaway on him.
It just tells you how much of an effect these lap cars have on your performance, on your car, and it's really tough to maneuver through lap traffic here at Bristol.
Sometimes I got to believe as a driver, you feel like you just can't get away from certain cars. This battle right here reminds me of that. Last 10, 15 laps, it's been Darrell Wallace Jr., Elliott Sadler, Ty Dillon all racing together as you watch Joey Logano continue to cut through the lap traffic.
You know, these tires now are starting to definitely fade. They are starting to become a little bit more difficult to drive. The cars are. The tires are definitely going to give up some speed right now. And this is when I think you can start to see some people make some moves, because we're starting to see some cars actually be able to make that bottom groove work in short spurts. And that's typically what happens after you start getting 100 laps on tires like we're getting into here. You will start to see some of the cars that have saved their tires or managed their tires a little bit better, or maybe the way their car's handling might be able to work their way up there in these closing laps if we stay green.
Adam, you remember at Las Vegas, we had a dominant car in Austin Dillon. He led 183 laps, I think. Coming to the white, he had to block all the way to the infield Ryan Blaney in the 22 car, who was closing heavy on him. Don't ever figure one of these NASCAR races is over till the checker flag falls. We can come to pit road, we can make an adjustment, we can get some tires, we can have a restart, which we know are crazy. Anything can happen.
Kevin Harvick just moved into the top 5.
Another guy that will not give up until the checkered flag goes in the air.
He works like a mule. We knew he was gonna.
And Logano has not put a lot of distance between himself and Daniel Suarez. Now, he could be saving his car a little bit, and I understand that. But Suarez hanging tough as you see Landon Castle, and I almost thought there was some smoke coming off the back end of that 01. He slowed on track.
It's like I don't know, something in the rear end.
That's a bad combination. She's smoking and shaking.
What do we think here, Larry? Roughly 30 to go. We're going to see another caution. What does your chart say?
Well, all I can do, Adam, is tell you what the trend shows. And when I look at the last 6 races here at Bristol in the Xfinity Series, 5 of those 6 races, we did have a caution in the last 25 to 30 laps. A couple of them within the last 15 laps.
Listen to his voice. It almost sounds like he's rooting for it down there. Did you guys hear that?
I don't know if anybody else is. I certainly am. I know Joey Logano's not.
Boy, Brennan Poole's been impressive again today. He's racing with Elliott Sadler here for the 11th spot. He just went down a lap early. We've watched this all year long with this kid. He just keeps on pushing and learning and getting better lap after lap, and he's in a great position here to get a good finish at a very tough Bristol Motor Speedway.
I had a chance to spend some time with Brennan last week, and we both raced at the same quarter midget track. Obviously him much later than me. But
you guys compare lap times at all?
Yeah, it's such a cool place out near Rio Linda, California. Capitol Speedway. Very cool to hear some stories about that track from a younger guy who raced there.
A couple of youngsters going after third here. Eric Jones in that spot. And the 60 of Chris Buescher just simply won't go away, Matt.
Remember, he's got a set of tires in the pits, but he doesn't have sticker tires. They are 3-lap scuffs right now, though. The tires are starting to show a lot of fading.
Well, and the toughest thing for them, Matt, in regard to that strategy, 25 laps to go, 14 cars on the lead lap. I'm not sure where he's running. If we get a caution, you even come and get him here,
I
right?
don't see him coming. As much as a lot of these drivers would like to have new
Whoa!
tires.
He almost was the caution, Adam.
Yes, he was. Sideways, and the right rear caught the wall.
If you don't know how hard these drivers are pushing it, that just showed it.
That's the way this kid drives every lap. Just got up there in the marbles and sideways, catches the wall, and I don't know if he ever let off or not.
So basically, as you get to that part of the track, you drift up right near the wall, but you have to be committed to the steering wheel and the gas pedal to really get that big shot of momentum off the corner, and you have to use up every inch of the racetrack, and if you do, it pays off on the exit. Right there, he just tried to get a little bit too much.
He was in that mode of get all you can get. You have a moment like that, 22 to go, involved in a championship battle. Do you back off, go a little more conservative now?
I don't think he's thinking about championship battle right now. I think he was just thinking, I could put some pressure on the 20 car.
Got a car in the wall with the caution out.
If you want to. Hey, Larry, there you go, buddy. 8th caution of the day.
Man, I don't know about Buescher, but see from Harvick's car here, what's he got to lose? He might come get those tires. Oh, that would look like a right front tire failure there.
You think so, Michael? It looked like it twitched and got a little bit loose.
I think it just veered over into the outside wall. Maybe some fender damage from a rub into the wall earlier. We've seen that car in the wall.
So easy to happen here. You're rubbing the wall and every other lap sometimes, and easy to get that fender on the right front tire.
Clements, the first car 1 lap down, since he's the reason for the caution. There will be no free pass. 12 cars on the lead lap, and that's significant here as we talk strategy and the potential of what Michael referred to. If you're Kevin Harvick, if you're Chris Buescher, do you think about coming down pit road? And Harvick is going to do it. He's down off the banking. He's going to make a pit stop. Not a lot to lose here, Chris.
Yeah, a lot of debate back and forth between he and Dave Ellens and whether they should come or whether they should stay out. And they finally figured out that they were only going to lose a couple spots on the racetrack, and Kevin Harvick just saying, I can't get by anybody. So he finally comes in and gets that fresh set of tires they kept for the end of the race.
And he's not the only one to come down pit road. Brian Scott, who has been strong, is on the pit lane. And also coming in, Elliott Sadler, I think. Did I see him come down?
Yeah, and that's good for Kevin. Bubba Wallace on pit road as well. The more cars that pitted behind Kevin means the more he'll be in front of on this restart. Got those fresh tires. Remember what happened here a year ago? Ryan Blaney got the lead with 7 laps to go on a restart. And that's how he won this race.
Second fewest laps led by a race winner here in August for Ryan Blaney, Vince.
And for the 6 of Darrell Wallace Jr., just have been fighting tight across the center most of the day today. It's going to be a 4-tire change. He is racing here in the Xfinity Series for the very first time. Was second here in the truck race last year. Having another strong showing shows that he matches up just fine with Bristol.
You know what I love about this track? I know Joey's dominated, led every lap, but there's so much going on. There's action everywhere, and now we've got some strategy that could play into this thing late.
I agree, Michael. Just there's nothing that you can't like about Bristol. Just everything is cool about Bristol. Pit strategy, multiple grooves, lap traffic, domination by Joey Logano, and what's going to happen here with Kevin Harvick with 4 fresh tires.
And then look what Logano's going to have to deal with. He's leading the race. Suarez will be to his inside, as will Eric Jones. But Chris Buescher on those old tires and a really fast car is going to be right on his bumper. Those guys are hungry. They don't want to talk about Joey Logano. They want to put their names in the record books. That's 3 starving racers that are going to try to win this race.
I would say that Joey's probably dampened their mood a little bit today with his domination, but when you get a caution like this, gives you a reset, and you just get into that mode as, I can do it, let's go get it.
So the top 6 cars stayed out here under caution. The first guy off the pit lane, as we talked about, Kevin Harvick. So he's got some ground to make up, a little traffic between he and Joey Logano, but I think he's got enough time to get there. Should be about 15 laps to go when the green flag goes in the air. And if you like what you've seen this afternoon here at Bristol, wait till we get to Richmond, Virginia next Friday night.
Here's what I like about what's about to happen.
Boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go short track racing, boys.
It's tight turns, high speeds, and plenty of bumping. And it's all done under the lights. It's going to be another exciting chapter as racing hits Richmond.
And as we remind you, our coverage begins next Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Brad Keselowski going to join us in the booth. And Jeff's back with us on Fox in a couple of weeks at Talladega, another short track race at Iowa coming up next month. And, you know, Harvick sent us some of that Hunt Brothers pizza today. I'm telling you that just so you think of your friends when you're not working next Friday night, all right?
I'll send you some Pepsi or some 3M products.
So let's hear what they're saying in the leaders camp with 15 to go.
The 18 asked if you would want to start on the bottom. He will let you have the spot. He just wants to start on the top so he don't get stuck.
Yeah, I'd try that. Jeff, that worked for you a couple weeks.
It worked for me at Martinsville, which I was shocked by. I'm not shocked that it didn't go quite the same way here. But here's what I'm excited about. Not to mention, of course, we're going to be watching this battle for the lead. But these guys all the way back to the 88 have very old tires. There's not going to be a lot of grip in these tires in these first few laps, and you're going to see a lot of action from guys slipping and sliding tires and getting into one another, and I won't be surprised if we see another caution.
And you will see no patience from Kevin Harvick. We saw him when he was on those other tires trying to race through the field when he knew he was going to pit again and he was 3 wide. You watch this 88 car of Harvick on those fresh tires and what he's going to do. This is going to, I think it's going to wind up a whole lot like Vegas. The guy that dominates is going to have his hands full at the end.
I think he goes straight to the middle. I think he knows he can't go around the bottom. He can't go to the top. He's going to go straight in the middle and hope that those 4 tires pay off.
And it's going to work. I mean, he's going to make some ground through there.
He's higher up than I expected him to be, so I think you get him a few laps here, make up a few spots, maybe one more caution, and he could be right in the middle of this thing.
Good call by Dave Ellens, the first-year crew chief, to take those tires off after that short run, save them here for the final laps at Bristol. Going to be 13 to go.
Thank you, Dave. This is going to be fun.
Always helps, too, when you're not racing for points.
It's showtime at Thunder Valley. Joey Logano's led every lap trying to hang on for his 2nd win of the year.
There goes Harvick straight to the middle.
3 wide. That's Darrell Wallace Jr. that got sideways.
Eric Jones working on his teammate Suarez. We already saw how those two guys have made some contact, and it's gotten very interesting among teammates. And look who's coming on the outside with that big run off the top of turn 2, Chris Buescher again.
I was surprised Harvick hadn't made more ground. It didn't go as fun as I thought it would. He's hung up with his teammate Chase Elliott. I think giving Chase a little space there, knowing Chase racing for a championship, and he just isn't able to make the move on the bottom.
And you know, Logano said it at the beginning of the show. He said that tires just don't seem to be that much of an advantage, and we're seeing that right now. I agree with you, Michael. I thought that the 88 would drive right by some of these guys around the bottom with those 4 fresh tires.
175 laps on those tires for Chris Buescher, who has been able to hang tough in 3rd and could leave here either tied or with the championship lead, depending on how the final laps sort out. We're coming up on 8 laps to go, and as we look at those final 8 laps, we give you the Hisense move of the race.
Was it when Logano cranked up his engine?
Surprise, surprise. Our Hisense move of the race, all about Joey Logano.
This whole day's been all about Joey Logano out front, but some intense action behind him.
Most dominant day here for the NASCAR Xfinity Series, Kevin Harvick, who led 96% of the laps. Today, that number could change. Joey Logano has led the first 293. He's coming to 6 laps to go, and his advantage 1.2 seconds over 2nd place Daniel Suarez.
I've got my eye on Chris Buescher in 3rd place. He is making some great choices in his line and being aggressive and getting big runs off the corner, and I just can tell that he wants to be set. I know he wants to be first, But I think he wants to be second before this race is over as well.
I just think he wakes up in the morning thinking about passing people. He doesn't want to ride behind any. He don't care where he's running. He just wants to be ahead of the guy in front of him. And it's been an amazing run on those old tires. And especially we've seen him in the outside wall. We've seen him sideways, 3 wide. But yet, racing for a championship, he's sitting there in 3rd spot as we close out these laps here at Bristol.
Down to 4 laps to go. And a reminder, if you've tuned in on this Saturday afternoon to watch Major League Baseball, we've got the Red Sox and Orioles on the way. First, a New England kid trying to close the deal in Bristol. Joey Logano, start-finish line, 3 laps remaining to get his 2nd win of the season and his 2nd here at Bristol.
You know, one of the reasons that tires aren't making a big difference, new tires anyway, when they restarted right there, Logano ran just about as fast as he had all day, just a few hundredths of a second slower. And others in the field actually ran their fastest laps on those older tires on that final restart. So tires just aren't making that much of a difference. Note to self for tomorrow.
That's going to be important come tomorrow.
Half a mile to go for Joey Logano.
He's going to lead 100% of them, Adam.
You talk about cruising to a victory. He qualified 2nd. He led the opening lap, and he's led every lap since. Checkered flag is out. He laid it on him today. Joey Logano wins it at Bristol. And Daniel Suarez was 2nd, Chris Buescher 3rd, Eric Jones 4th, Ty Dillon finishes inside the top 5. We've got post-race coverage on the way from Bristol, Tennessee. First, we go to our baseball studios in Los Angeles. Kevin Burkhardt has the coverage there, but we're coming right back to Bristol. Let's go to Kevin now.
And Joey Logano has pulled his Ford into victory lane. What a career mark today for Joey Logano. He's getting the Hans device off. And Logano's guys just now getting to victory lane. Joey, the most laps led ever in an Xfinity Series race. Is this the type of race that drivers only dream about?
I've never led every single lap in a race before, and what a fast discount tire Ford. It's, gosh, it's just, that's amazing. I mean, you're waiting for something to go wrong. You know, it's such a fast car, and you're waiting, you know, late cautions, all that stuff, and you're like, all right, where am I gonna blow this thing? Because those are the ones that you're just nervous throughout the whole race. But what a fast car. Greg Irwin, all this team here. Perfect day. Can't ask for anything more out of them. And I want to say hey to Steve Burns back at home, man. We miss you. And try to do this again tomorrow.
The last time Joey Logano competed here in Thunder Valley back in 2012, he went to victory lane that day. Kevin, let's go back to you in LA.
This copyrighted telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent of NASCAR Broadcasting. NASCAR would like to thank all of our loyal fans for your continued support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.